Happy Friday, dear friends. As the title of this video suggests, this is my last dance with you for now. We're going to be pushing pause on these videos for the time being. So I want to just take this opportunity to thank a few people who have really been instrumental in making these happen. The first is Rabbi Teitelbaum of Masora DC, who encouraged me to make these videos and has done a great job of getting them out there, so I really thank him very, very much. I also want to thank my children who have not only been there in the background during these videos, not making noise and encouraging me and sometimes even coaching me and giving me some good suggestions. So I want to thank my children. I also want to thank a close friend of mine who a couple years ago actually encouraged me to make videos and to start speaking publicly, and I want to just thank him. He knows who he is. And I want to thank most of all my wife, because without her these videos would not be made. She's always on the other side of that camera. She's doing the production and the editing and makes it look professional. So everything and the videos, as you've seen, I'm sure have gotten better and better, and that's all thanks to my wife spending many hours editing and adding in music and doing all of that. So I thank the woman on the other side of this camera. And most of all, I'd like to thank you, my loyal listeners. And I really always appreciate when you watch, when you listen, and when you share some insights with me or ask questions. I always really appreciate your feedback. So thank you for all these last many months listening to these videos and watching them. I'm going to miss it for now, but we're pushing pause, and I wanted to share with you one last idea, this week's Parsha Bahalosva. So the Torah tells us that there was a cloud that would rest over the Mishkan. When the Jews were in the desert, this cloud would tell them when to stop and when to go. But Nachmanides tells us that it was actually very erratic. It was unpredictable. Sometimes the Jews would go and they'd get to this really beautiful place, and then all of a sudden the cloud would start moving and they'd have to go. And then other times they would be going, and then they would be in this really dinky motel type of place, and they'd be and then the cloud would stop and they'd stay there for a longer period of time than they had wanted. They'd put their suitcases under their beds and they just make themselves at home. And one of the lessons, I think, is that the Torah is telling us, Rav Dessler explains very beautifully, that we have a religion, we have a Torah, we have mitzvot, and we have religion, we'll travel. You know, sometimes we think that if we don't have a synagogue to go to, we don't have a shul, things are closed, I can't go the places I want to go, what am I going to do? How's my Judaism going to be affected? Of course it's affected. But we still have that connection to Hashem. Even in those moments when it's not so comfortable and we're on the go or we're in our basements, wherever we might be, we always have the opportunity, as we learned from this week's Parsha, to connect to Hashem and to live Judaism as best as we could. And I think it's a valuable idea to think about not only during the coronavirus pandemic, but also as we head into summer now, and those of us who are fortunate enough to be able to travel, wherever you go, Judaism comes with you. Judaism has come with us all over the place for the last 2,000 years of our wandering. Judaism has gone with us, whether it was Spain or North Africa or Eastern Europe or Western Europe, wherever we've been, it's always there with us. In America, in Israel, in Tokyo, you can be a Jew. And I think it's a very important thing to remember. And even though sometimes we do feel kind of lonely in this time, and I think it's important also to look in this week and to see that it's okay when you're not feeling great, when you're not feeling like it's the ideal situation. Like even in Moshe this week expresses loneliness when he feels that the Jewish people are not following in the way that he would like, and it's difficult. But even in those times, what Moshe does and what we all need to do is recognize that we have Hashem. And even though we might feel lonely, we're never alone, because Hashem is always here with us, and Hashem is with us wherever we might be, however we're feeling. There's always Hashem. He always loves us. He always wants us to reach out to Him. And may we all have a wonderful summer, an uplifting summer. And thank you for listening to the Masora Minute. Shabbat Shalom.